Hello, Aldo Figueroa here. In this video, I want to show you how to apply shaders, which are different type of materials that give your models a specific look and feel. I want to show you how to apply those. Now, before we do that, we need to set our project directory. Now, in the previous class session, I showed students how to create a project folder, which is going to file project window. Now you don't have to do that each time you open up your file. You do this specifically when you're creating a new project. But this time I have an existing project that I want to work with, but I want to make sure that my project is set to the right folder. So I'm going to go to File, Set Project. It's going to open up my file browser window. And right here, I'm going to navigate to the location where my folder is at. It's already gone to the folder. Right now, I've been placing these files within this directory. My users folder, Aldo Figueroa, my documents. I have one for the university, CSUCI, Spring 21, Art 326. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one here, this folder. This is the one folder that I've been using, and I'm going to go ahead and tell it to set. Once I select set, and I'm now telling Maya this is the project directory where all my files are going to be located. So now, for example, I'm going to go to File. I'm going to now tell Maya to open up my scene. It knows to go to my scene folder for my current project directory. So right here, it's going into my scenes folder within the solar system S21. I could select my file, and I'm going to tell it to open. So it's going to open up my file here. And what I have here is a working version of my uh, the solar system tutorial. What I want to do on this one, it's playing. You can see what's happening. We have the sun in the center that is slowly rotating. We have what I call the Earth that's rotating on its own axis and then has an orbit around the sun. And then we have the moon that is going around the Earth. I want to apply some shaders. I want to give these different shapes color for right now. No texture, just color. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. I'm going to rewind to the first frame. And to do this, we have to access what's called the Hypershade window. I'm going to show you two different methods on how to open up that window. The first one is going to the File menu. I'm going to go to Windows. I'm going to go to Rendering Editors, and I'm going to locate the Hypershade. Now, before I select this, I want to point out that within Maya, some of your tools have icons and they're located on the far left. You can see this for the Hypershade. We have this little icon. This icon is actually already available within my interface, and it's located right up here. So we could click on either one. It's going to take us to the same location. So this is one way, and if you have the icon here, that's the second method. So I'm going to go ahead and go and select the Hypershade. So let's see. I need to resize this window. It's in my second monitor. So here we have the Hypershade. I want to talk about what we have going on here. First, if we look here on the top left-hand corner, we have this window, which is called Materials. We have some default materials that are there. Lambert 1 is the default shader. If you notice that Lambert 1 is this gray, all objects that are created by default are associated with Lambert 1. So I do not want you to change Lambert 1. Don't change this one. Down at the bottom down here, on the bottom left, we have our create. I'm going to go ahead and click on under Maya, and specifically I want to select surface, and it's going to this is kind of a way to be able to focus on just certain type of materials. For right now, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to use Lamberts. I'm going to create one Lambert right now. And you notice that Lambert 2 has now been created. And we now get down here, this window is a little bit small because my resolution is really low for right now. Down here, it shows us what are called the input and output connections, how this Lambert is being created. Notice that we have different nodes. Lambert 2, there's a node where the out color is going into the Lambert 2 SG node onto the surface shader. And over here on the far right, the material viewer, it gives us another way of being able to change the different material properties to this shader. So I'm going to go and click on Lambert 2 right here. So this is one way to create it. I'm going to show you actually 3 different ways of how to create a shader and apply them to your models. You'll find a method that works best for you. But for right now, say for example for this Lambert 2, we could always rename them. So I'm going to go Lambert 2 and I'm going to put an underscore, and I'm going to call this one Sun because this is the one that I want to create for the sun. The only thing that I want to do for right now is just change the color. So right here we're under Common Material Attributes. I'm going to click on this box right here where next to color, and this gives us a color picker. So I'm going to choose an orange light color. So on the outer circle right here we have the hue, and on the center we have the saturation. Now notice how on the bottom left hand corner we could get potentially white. To the top we get black. But here I'm going to now switch it to something that's a little bit more golden yellow right here, and I'm going to click and drag this towards the right to find a nice golden yellow for my sun. I'll go with that. Now I've created the shader, but I have not associated this shader with my object. And I want to show you different ways on how to do that. Right now I have my shader created, but it's not associated just yet. So let me go ahead and move this so we could see it. One method to assign this, I'm going to show you probably the easiest method that I like to do. Once I have the shader created here, I'm going to move my cursor over the Lambert 2. I'm going to press and hold down the middle mouse button. I'm going to hold down and click on the button, click, and you can see that I get this little icon. I'm going to drag this over my object, and I'm going to let go of the middle mouse button, and I just placed it, and you can see that this is now colored. Now I should mention that before I go over some of the keyboard shortcuts. For now I'm going to just move this off to the side. If you do not see the color, we want to make sure that we have the shader mode on. If you press 4 on your keyboard, this gives you the wireframe. If you press 5, this gives you the shader mode. So I want to make sure that we're right here. So if you're looking at this and you can't see it, you press 5 on your keyboard. So right now I've just placed this shader. Now let me show you yet another method that we could do this. This time what I want to do, I want to create one for the Earth. Now the Earth though, notice that we have a very special relationship going on with the Earth and the Moon. If I select the Earth, both objects are selected. And this is because we have the Earth is the parent to the Moon orbit, which includes the Moon. So it's a really unique situation. Now, for example, if I only select the Moon, it doesn't select the Earth. So, but if you select the Earth, it also selects the Moon. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and create yet another Lambert, Lambert 3, and make sure you can select it. Over here under the property editor, I'm going to locate under common materials under the color. I don't want gray. And I'm going to select a blue color. So I want to go ahead and I'm going to change the color to a blue hue. I'm going to create something that's kind of like ocean blue. Oh, that's a nice color right there. Great. right, right there. That's what I want. Ocean blue. And what I'm going to do this time, instead of clicking and dragging, what you're also able to do, I'm going to select the earth by just using my selection tool. You could press Q on your keyboard and just click on it. And I'm going to move over to the Lambert 3. Oh, you know what? I didn't rename Lambert 3. I'm going to add underscore earth. This is only to help me so I can know that for this one has been associated with my earth shape. Okay, there we go. Uh, so now I'm going to select the earth object in my scene. And instead of holding down the middle mouse button and click and dragging it, this time I'm going to move my cursor over this Lambert. I'm going to press and hold down the right mouse button. We get this little contextual menu item, and you can notice up on top, assign material to selection. Because I have the earth selected, I'm going to go ahead and move my cursor right here, and I'm going to let go of the right mouse button. And what we have, the earth, and notice this, the moon also are associated with this shader. So what I want to do now is I want to create a separate shader and associate it only with the moon. Now again, the reason why both of these have the shader is because of the very unique parent-child relationship that these objects have. So now what I'm going to do, instead of creating my material, I could show you how you could create a material and assign it to the object. This time what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move this window a little bit off to the side. If you click on your object, this time it's going to be the moon, and if you right mouse click and hold over this, we get this little contextual menu that comes up. But now if I locate down this menu, there's two options. I could either assign new material, I could assign a favorite, or I could assign an existing one. Now I don't have an existing one. I could have created a Lambert and labeled it moon, but this time I'm going to tell it to assign new material. And what we get this window right here. And you can see that, okay, Lambert is there. I'm going to go ahead and click on Lambert. It does two things. It creates your new material. This time it created this Lambert 4 that we have right here. And it's already assigned to my moon. So I'm going to go ahead, select it, and then I'm going to go ahead and rename it, or I'm going to add the underscore moon. And this time I'm going to change the color. So now notice if I change the color, it's already gray, and that's kind of like what I want, but I'm going to go ahead and just give it a slight yellow tinge to it, a slight yellow color to it. And notice that as I change this, it's updating my model. So there's no refresh button that I have to do. It automatically updates that. Now say for example, what if I want to make the moon red? It changes. There, I'm going to go ahead and let's give this a little slight pink tone. There we go. I'll keep it like that for right now. And that's how you're able to assign colors via shaders to your models. I'm going to go ahead and close that window for right now. I'm going to move my window, kind of situate it. Really important, I'm going to save either Command or Control S. And now if I play my animation, it plays, but now my objects have color. So I'm going to stop this video for right now. This is how you're able, went over 3 different methods on how you could apply shaders to your models. I hope you found this video helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.